In 2017, I was going through really deep depression, which gradually escalated to the point of becoming indifferent towards life because of accumulated pain and suffering since childhood that I was carrying as unresolved energetic burden. And as I hit the rock bottom, I exclaimed that it's either depression will win or I will. And I asked my angelic and intergalactic friends for help. And that was a turning point of that situation because help was offered immediately and I rapidly started to heal. And one of the things that helped me tremendously in this healing process was out-of-body flying. One night, as I started separating from my body and flying off, I was scooped and wrapped in this invisible blanket that felt so incredible that I couldn't compare that feeling to anything else. I was cuddled and swaddled in the arms of the divine feminine, and this invisible blanket of unconditional love was just wrapping and wrapping around me, that my tensed up body that felt so small and so scooched started to let go and relax slowly, slowly, and slowly into the arms of the divine feminine. That entire year, I felt that there was no light, and finally I started to feel a relief. And I was taken away and away, and when it came to the stop, I opened my eyes and I was inside of this intergalactic scientific lab. As I stepped in there, I knew that I was there before. I knew that place. It was a huge lab with many, many different rooms and departments. Many intergalactic beings worked there of many different races. And first I was taken into this healing room and placed under this machine that had oval bottom and oval top. It was 2 cylinders like that. And from the top cylinder, there was a stem of pure energy. And my full body was placed in there under this light. And I was surrounded by Pleiadian beings. Some of them were scientists, some of them were my friends, some of them were new beings that I never met. But all of them radiated this incredible level of honor and love, and they all wanted me to heal. As this light was streaming onto me, I felt that all the particles and all the scattered pieces of myself that were all over the place during this depression and during all the suffering from the beginning of this life, they were all coming back together into my being like little pieces of magnet. It was absolutely incredible feeling of slowly being put back together. And as I was looking at my friends, I was so happy to see them. One of my friends told me that it's better to keep my eyes closed and completely relax for this process. But I was allowed to go and explore around the lab. And as I started floating around, I went into many different rooms. It's an incredibly big laboratory, almost the size of a planet. In one of the rooms, there were 3 praying mantis beings. They were probably 9 to 10 feet tall, and they were wearing blue robes. And one of them had this big manuscript, and they were working on something there. They met me with this great honor. And as I proceeded to float, I was meeting my friends and other beings. And when I received a signal that the healing was almost done and that I had to return to my body, in the hallway, I met these stick beings. They're basically humanoid-looking beings, but they're incredibly tall and thin, as if somebody stretched a human like that. They have very long faces, like a matchstick. They have golden skin and no hair. All the beings that worked in that lab were benevolent beings, and all of them greeted me with deep honor and unconditional love. as I floated back into my body and the healing process was done, I was again put in this invisible blanket. I was flying back. I descended, and when I got into my human body, I felt like a newborn person. It was a feeling of being healed and whole. And I laid in bed for probably another hour, just smiling ear to ear, because I felt a new level of life. And when I opened my eyes and I was completely awake and sat in bed, I realized that I won the battle.